we're just going to chill for a little while and let people get checked in. Already got a few checking in. Rusted Daily, what's going on, buddy? Steve Cordis, what's happening? Yeah, single speed's one thing, but rigid is a whole other animal, right? Let your hands feel that one a little bit. But how was the bike otherwise? Hey, you might look out on the cycling garage. I saw that Kyle Murphy's got a fork for sale. I don't know if it fits, would work for that bike or not. I didn't really look at it that closely, but you never know. All right, Alex, the deadliest catch. All right, good. I'm glad I'm taking priorities over that. That's awesome. What's up, Scott Hutchins? Checking in from Texas. Missed you guys this weekend. It was good times, but I guess you guys were doing some road racing as well in Texas. So we'll just give a few more minutes, let people check in, and then we'll get rolling pretty quick. I always say it's going to be short. I only got a few items on the list, but then it always runs long. So I'm not going to say it's going to be short because I never make it short. Bill Clark, how's it going? Glad to see you checking in. Tyler Shanks, dude, he's checking in from Moab. Man, I've been jonesing on your pictures all week, brother. Looks like you're having a good time. And we've been to Moab multiple times, but with Arkansas blowing up like they have the last few years, we just haven't made it there in, gosh, 4 or 5 years, I don't think. So, but dude, we love that place. It's a cool vibe. I can remember going to Moab one of the first times, and the first thing that I remember thinking once we got there was that, man, we're not the weird ones anymore. We're normal. All right, well, let's go ahead and get rolling a little bit. We got quite a few people checked in, a few comments already, and got someone from Moab in Texas, and some of our locals here in Oklahoma, so we're all good. Let's roll on. So got this weekend. We'll talk more about it. So pretty proud of my little pennant here, my little PBR pennant. So I think you saw a picture of me on Facebook with that. So one of the freebies from this weekend at Peddler's Bash marathon race up in Arkansas. We'll talk more about it here in a bit, but anyway, got some cool swag there and got a cool little award. We'll talk a bit about it in a little bit. And of course, I got my lineup today. So again, I'm sticking with the Arkansas, Peddler's Bash, Peddler's Pub, Bike Rack Brewing theme. So made I hauled a helmet from Oklahoma to Arkansas for a buddy of mine that races single speed, Scott Bozone, and does some gears as well too, but does a little bit of both anyway. So he paid me in a 6-pack of this good stuff. So, and this is the last one. Tyler Shanks, you're right, brother. It's a cool ass place, man. There's a lot of stuff to explore up there. So enjoy your time up there, and who knows, maybe we'll get back up there sometime too. See what else we have here. So, and then of course I'm staying in tune with Team Wine Box, and got another little PBR gift here, and it's kind of hard to see, but it's a little PBR keychain down here at the bottom of my wine glass. And of course, tip my hat here to John Denton. He'll probably check in here in a little bit with a low battery on his phone. So a little bit of Jaeger. John had a little bit of Jaeger this weekend. He was feeling a little rough around the edges on Sunday, so glad that was not me. Okay, let's. I Again, I always wait and forget. Corey White. This is the weekly Wizard update. I don't know, episode 10. I don't know. I can't remember how many I've done. Quite a few. So, got a few things to talk about. We're going to talk about Keystone, weather, reschedule, upcoming, Peddler's Bash that we just did this weekend. Little known Wizard fact that's coming up next. Marathon Nats, and then anything else you guys want to talk about and you want to pop up a question, just ask away, and if I can squeeze it in, then we'll discuss it and talk about it. So give a shout out to Whole Shot here, and I posted a link at the top as I came in. So Whole Shot is a coffee shop that is got all kinds of cool stuff, coffee and a whole arrangement of different things. They got some Anthem brew on tap, as well as some other things, and super cool place. They're officially open, been open for a couple days now, and they're in the I guess would be the west side of our new shop, Bike Lab shop. So come give them a visit. There's a lot of things blowing up on Facebook, so go out and anyway, you can hit that link, and that'll get you to all the places that you need to get to research it and find out. So, cool place. Go see it. Go drink some coffee. Go say hi to the boys and everybody else working there. So, all right. Take them alone. Just popped in, and they're back to Tuesday night trainer group. So I guess they're probably done with the trainer ride, or pretty close by this point, and probably drinking some beers and thinking about getting some food. So glad to see you guys check in. Hope you had a good trainer ride tonight. Megan Crampy checked in. Yay, Team Winebox. And Ryan Palumbo. I missed you guys. You checked in. I just snuck right by me. Greetings. Little known Wizard fact. So this one's a little different. Throwing some stuff out there that you guys probably know, probably could figure out, but this is one that just kind of came up. I tried to find a picture of it, but man, I have so many Facebook pictures, I just couldn't find it. I scrolled and scrolled and scrolled, but I know it's hiding out there on Facebook somewhere. I thought they were all gone, but they are not all gone. I survived college, and for a couple of years in college, I had a mullet, full-on mullet. Spike on top, long curl perm hair in the back. It was pretty epic. Back then, though, no camera phones and all that, and I really thought I'd survived college life without pictures, and then all of a sudden, some of our sorority sisters and fraternity brothers started posting pictures, and darned if I wasn't in them with my mullet. So they're floating around out there somewhere, hard to find, but I admit it, I had one. All right, next subject. Bike Rack Brewing, a little bit of golden ale. They've got some other good stuff there, but this golden ale is pretty tasty. It's good. Let's hit Keystone. Let's knock this baby out and get it out of the way. So, Corey Bowen, mullet equal power. Yeah, I know. I shifted the mullet from the back to now I just reversed it to the beard. So, I don't know. Same concept, different side maybe. So, I know some people weren't too pleased with the change at Keystone just because scheduling, and a few people won't be able to make it. And reschedules are always hard, but unfortunately, they're necessary. And as we watched the radar while we raced in Arkansas, it was obviously a good call, looking at the rain amounts in the forecast, and we made an early call. We normally don't make the call until Saturday at noon, but the timing just wasn't really right this time. I mean, obviously, you can't force the weather, and the forecast changed and stayed solid pretty much from Wednesday all the way through. And there was no doubt that we were going to get rain on Saturday, and we were going to get dumped on there an inch plus, and that was not going to change. And they made the call early, and I think we've all seen what happened, and we've seen the rain, and it was a good call. The race would have been a muddy mess, and so we're able to postpone it 1 week. We have very few open dates. None are great. Each has their own issues. So we're racing this coming weekend. And it is the same weekend as OKC Memorial Marathon, but that's going to conflict with a few people, and that's unfortunate, but we knew that was going to happen. We've raced on Memorial Day multiple times in the past. Typically, that's been the RDR date. And we've never had any real issues. The real issues there have been weather, not the conflict. So it's just kind of part of the gig. Shane Brown, what's going on? We'll get that knee fixed up and come on back out. Party in the back, party in the front. Tommy Duvall. Nice. And Desiree actually finally checks in, so she's going to get to see our live show for once. So her chores are done. Apparently she's in. And this is her first one she's checked into. Daryl Stilson says, tough call. Glad they did it early. I agree, Daryl. And we usually can't do it early just because we need to wait and see what's going to happen. But the way the forecast played out, it gave us the opportunity to make it. And Bobby and Josh, the promoters for TLC, made the call. They contacted me. Asked me if I was sure, and I was like, just do it. Let's do it. So I gave them the okay. We did it, and done deal. Sometimes we have to make that. Honestly, you guys don't realize this, but anytime we have something coming up like this, we're looking at the weather the week before, and we see that there's an issue, there's a possibility. You never know what's going to happen throughout the week, so I always plan for worst case. And so I throw them a list of dates. I throw my board of directors a list of dates, and we start planning for what if. And that way, when we have that what if happen, like it did this time, then we can go ahead and throw a date out immediately and say, we're postponing, but we're going here, instead of having to make you guys wait for a while. So that way we can make the call and then immediately turn around and give you guys a date for the reschedule. And that's what we did. So, I think it's a good call. You look at the weather that we're having. We got a little cold front moving in here. I've got the door open and nice and cool breeze, north wind. That front kind of moved in a little bit. And I think it's supposed to move in various places in Oklahoma throughout the night and tomorrow morning, something like that. But then it's done. And we're going to be clear the rest of the week. And the weather this weekend is looking sweet. So, it's going to be a good gig. I would ask that because of the rain that we're going to have tonight, I know some of you may want to try to sneak up tomorrow and Friday to pre-ride. Just check on, Tour de Dirt page, Facebook page. Check on Oklahoma Mountain Bike Trail Conditions website or Facebook page, and somebody will post out there. Bobby Reese, or probably Bobby Reese will be the one posting. He's one of the main ones for Transitions Life Care TLC. That's leading up the promoter charge for Keystone. So keep an eye out for his posts on the conditions over the next couple of days for pre-riding. I can't imagine that they won't be ready to go by Friday and Saturday for sure. But Thursday may be a little iffy because of the rain we're going to get overnight tonight. So just kind of have to wait and see what happens. So this is such a beautiful award, and you're making fun of it. We'll talk about the awards in a minute, but Heath Arnie checks in. Hey, y'all. What's going on? Glad to have Heath here. Okay, let's see if there's any more things about Keystone. If you guys have any questions about Keystone, pop in and ask me real quick while I'm looking over my notes. Really, the only other thing I have is that we've already taken care of moving everything over to the new date. Don Masulli, one of our USAC representatives. I think he's already contacted Bobby and helped them out and moved everything over. So if you registered, then all your registration just moves right over to the new date. So, I mean, if you pre-registered for the originally, you're still pre-registered and you're good to go. Did have one person call and said they couldn't make it and they wondered if they could transfer their entry to another rider, and that's a little difficult, but we're going to handle that just manually. So since he wants to give it to someone, then I've already got a couple of junior riders that we're working with, and so we're going to make sure that at least one of those guys gets comp this week. And just want to thank Casey Meyer for that. Casey Meyer is one of our Kansas riders. Does Tour Derby, also does a lot of marathon stuff. And so anyway, thanks for doing that. I mean, he could have requested a refund. Instead, he asked to do that, and so we're going to make sure that goes to a good cause. We got a bunch of juniors, especially a bunch of these guys from Tulsa that are coming down, and a lot of the guys that are bringing these, a lot of the adults are end up paying for these kids out of their own pocket. So we're gonna try to fix that, and Casey's helping us this one time with his fee. So thumbs up and thanks for that. Got wood, gonna ride. Paula McGinnis, that's a stump. Yes, let the pup in. Well, my dog's just sitting here. My door's wide open, and she can go out if she wants, but she's not going anywhere. She's like 5,000 years old. She's sitting right here. Chris Cooper looks like the wood beast from Flash Gordon. Yeah, I don't know that one. I'm gonna let Chris Cooper explain that. Daryl Silson, ticks are at Keystone. Hey, with this temperatures, I think they're going to be out everywhere at this point. They're just probably starting to emerge. So it's just kind of part of the gig. Some people are pretty, I don't know, they just flock to these, some people, and other people are a little bit more immune to them. I don't get them too badly, but I know some people do, so just be aware. Do not put your hand in there. I will not. Chris Cooper. Ryan Paloma, that's a good question. Where are the people encouraged to park at Keystone? Parking at Keystone is always a little iffy. So typically what most people do, honestly, I've camped and I've stayed in a cabin before, which is just up the road a little bit and across the road into the cabins in the camping area. And I kept my stuff there, and I just rode my bike over to the venue, hauled the backpack. But if you're driving in, all the parking is going to be along the edge of the road. There's several grassy areas along the edge of the road. There's a little bit of a cul-de-sac right across the entryway. People will park up and down the road. When you turn off, it goes down the hill. And that's really pretty much about it. I mean, there's no good way to make that happen. I don't know if the promoters have a plan for that, but that's just typically the way it happens. People park all the way up in the grass along the road and just kind of ride their bike along the shoulder. We typically warm up and down the shoulders of that road. They've got a pretty good shoulder on both sides, and we're only going to let people in with tents and things like that for the venue. Because if you guys have been there, there's like a gated. The gate's open, but there's just like a little road that goes into the parking lot. The parking lot will be closed off for most people. They'll have someone there, so everybody's gonna have to park outside of that. We're just gonna keep the parking lot open for registration and team tents, medics, anything like that. So yeah. Alyssa Lutz, you are absolutely correct. I'm pretty stoked with it. Yay for the junior riders. I spent the evening at Bluff Creek with the Oklahoma Flyers, hoping we're going to see a lot of growth in Oklahoma, and that's great. And that is something that I guess I should mention. Every Tuesday now, I need to find the event page, and someone probably is watching that can post a link to this. But we've got several people that have made a movement to copy and tag along with the Oklahoma Flyer movement that started in Tulsa, and now we're doing it in Oklahoma City. So both the metro areas are getting together and making this happen in both areas. And here in Oklahoma City, They are doing the Tuesday night ride, which is a Tuesday night Bluff Creek ride for specifically for this. So I don't know the specifics of that. So if someone knows that, please post the link to that. But it's just a really cool deal. And if you've been to any events, whether it's cyclocross, this, you know, as it closed out the season this year, moving into mountain bike season and into road, which is already beginning, you should see some of these junior fields that just didn't exist a year ago, 2 years ago. Not only are the fields bigger, but these kids are good and they have potential and support, and it's amazing to see that. And so, I mean, that's our future. So it's a good cause, and it's just going to keep growing. I think it's awesome. Scott Hutchins, amusing to watch Okies get stuck in the bar ditch. You know, I can't even go there, Scott, because that's such an awesome story. That's one of my favorite stories to tell, but it takes me like 20 minutes just to tell the whole story because it's really good. And you and Tex tag teaming to get that trailer out at Turkey 2 years ago. Such a good time. So that's an inside joke there that a lot of people aren't going to get. But anyway, maybe I'll tell the story one of these days, but it takes too long to tell. But super fun story. If you're ever around me, ask me. I'll tell it to you personally. All right, I'm done with Keystone. I think we're good there. I mean, I think we're going to have a hell of a race. So, I mean, we missed the crazy weather, and this course is going to shape up quite well. It was dry. I'm sure it's a little damp now, and we're going to have some creek crossings. But, I mean, hell, those creek crossings are there 24/7 anyway. No worries. There's 2 of them. We're going to have great weather. I mean, I just don't think we can ask for anything better. It's going to be a fun course, fun venue, and we're just going to knock it out and have a ball. So we'll see all you guys this weekend. Racing bikes. Okay. Next up, Peddler's Bash. So, let me time out before we go to Peddler's Bash. Brandon Nismet, what's happening? Brandon checks in. What's going on, brother? Kyle Beckel. Yes and no. I mean, you can't. It's not. There's not any that's right there specifically by the trail and the trailhead, but literally just an 1/8 of a mile up the road where the trailhead is the actual park entrance to part of the lake. And you can drive up in there, and there's several places to tent camp. I mean, that are only 5 minutes from the venue. You can drive there or ride your bike there. So there's primitive tent camping. There's RV hookups. There's even some restrooms with showers. So I know a lot of us after the race, if we don't have a chance to shower, we'll blaze down there and just use those showers before we head home. So. Cody Pollard said Keystone State Park, which is what it is. And it's really close. I mean, literally just like less than 1/8 of a mile from the trailhead up the main road, and then you turn into the park, and there's all kinds of stuff there. So, Chad Van Hosen, heck yeah, we need you to keep racing. So Chad's one of our Ponca boys, and man, him and Roy and all the guys out there have just done crazy work. Well, Chad decided that, heck, he wasn't just going to work trail, he was going to race. So he actually raced his first race at Ponca 2 weekends ago and had a heck of a time, got on the podium. So he's jonesing to race again. I love it. So, if you can't make it to Keystone, then you can come on out to Outback after that in a couple weeks and hit that. So. Yeah, he said there's like 40 plus tent camping spots, so I think we've got that covered. So, and then Brian McGinnis chimed in with a 1/4 of a mile from the trail. So, yeah, sweet. So I think we're all covered there with for Kyle's question. Thank you guys for helping me out there. Pollard in will have the space available. All right. I guess that means you're camping. I don't know what we're doing that weekend. Might have to camp too. I don't know. John Denton, you haven't checked in, buddy. Come on. This is for you. He's had a few of these. I don't think we could talk Cody into it this weekend. So, all right, Peddler's Bash. So, this was a heck of a time. So, as we're prepping and ready to get rolling to Peddler's Bash, which is a Saturday marathon race, a 40 to 45-ish mile marathon race. We knew going in that there was the possibility that we were going to double up. This is a reschedule. This race was supposed to be around New Year's Eve-ish, I think, and had this crazy-ass cold snap. So we went ahead and went up there, and we got a ride in like the 2 days before and then the day after. But the day of, when the race was supposed to be, it was crazy cold and icy and like 0 degrees, and so nobody even went outside. So the race was postponed until now, which means that we were going to have a double up of Keystone last weekend on Sunday after doing a marathon race. And with the weather playing like it was, we ended up not having to do both. So the weather in Arkansas was still a little sketchy. We weren't sure when the storms were going to hit, but we went ahead and went up. And as we were driving, we started looking at the forecast and realized that the rain was not going to hit until about 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We were going to be done, changed, and at the after party before that even got going. And it turned out that was the case. Weather was absolutely perfect for bike racing, and we had one heck of a race. So it was crazy fun. Everything staged out of Peddler's Pub, which if you've been to Bentonville, I can't imagine that you've not been there. I don't know that that's even possible as a cyclist to go to Bentonville and not go there. But Peddler's Pub is, I don't know who exactly owns it. It's the family, but I mean, we know the two, that run it mostly. And that's Kevin and Leslie run the Peddler's Pub, which is that's the restaurant side, and then right next to it, kind of the restrooms kind of separate that and and what looks like the bar, but that's actually the brewery. That's Bike Rack Brewing, and then there's an office kind of on the end, and that's Progressive Trail Design, which we've got our buddies like Brian Brinforder and all his crew that work for Progressive Design and do a lot of the trail stuff there. So it's kind of like this complex of everything, all biking, and it's busy all the time. Anyway, they hosted this event, so. I mean, what a cool venue and what a cool place to host it, because we love to hang out there anyway. And we staged and had pre-meal there and staged the race there at a neutral rollout, and police escort out of town, and it's crazy cool. It's crazy cool for the geared guys. It wasn't so cool for the single speeders. It was cool until the cop car hit the gas and dropped everybody and then turned it loose. And then we're going down a hill at like 38. It's not a whole hell of a lot you can do with 32.19. I'm not sure I pedaled for like a half a mile. So anyway, but it's a cool event, fun. We had a good time. We had a crap ton of Oklahoma folks down there. Man, I bet we had 25 Oklahoma people down there. I mean, we had crews from Team Phoenix, Warm Up, Bike Lab, Sound Pony. Who am I leaving out here? I got notes. Fat Tire, Burn Camp. I mean, all these Oklahoma folks representing in Arkansas, and not only just representing, but I mean, hell, bunch of them got in the money. So a bunch of them got in the money and took home some trophies. So several of us that did that. So pretty stoked that we come up and in mass and do well. We had 2 juniors take trophies, Kai and Malachi, Kai Cordes, Malachi Caldwell. Had the privilege to ride with Malachi pretty much all day Saturday, and it was I had a really good time. So he got hung up with some slow riders, and I bridged up to him finally because they all got out ahead of me so far because of the gears, and he said he was feeling good, and he jumped on my wheel, and we just started passing people, and pretty much did that all day long, and we just rode together. So Steve Cordes says, Okies took some Arkies money. Yes, we did. Yes, we did. All right. Let's see if I missed anything here. I think we're all good. Tom Euglein checked in. What's happening, Tom? All right, let's see if there's anything else about Peddler's Bash I got to talk about. So the course covered, I didn't mention, I mean, for those of you who don't know, I mean, this is probably going to be a recurring event. This is their first year, and they're going to try to do it again, I'm sure. I don't know if they'll stick with a date like this or if they'll try to go back to their original date, which is around, like I said, New Year's Eve. But super cool event, and you start out in town, so you get to see all, some of the downtown area, neutral rollout. We roll out and hit Slaughter Pen, do a little bit of section that we've done the Slaughter Pen Jam. A little bit of a note here for those of you that have done the Slaughter Pen Jam or want to do the Slaughter Pen Jam. We'll make a note here in just a minute about that. Remind me if I forget. Steve Cordes is on here. He'll remind me. We do a little bit of that course, then we jump out and we roll over to Blowing Springs. We do a little bit of that, and then we jump out and do a huge section of the back 40, which I think they picked on the back end of the back 40 section every freaking steep climb that they could, because I don't know how much climbing we did, but it was some serious climbing. We get out of the back 40, we roll back to Blowing Springs, which was hard to get back, a lot of climbing just to get back to Blowing Springs, and then, I don't know, I think I should listen to Malachi because I totally took a wrong turn, but we still ended up back where we needed to be. We just took like about a half-mile detour, and then we get back on the bike path, head back to Slaughter Pen, do the bush push, which is literally the bush push. You pretty much walk your bike up it, get your second tag or your wristband, and make sure you're good. And then we hit some really cool little sections on the way back home, and past a really smelly sewer lagoon and some cool stuff. But yeah, anyway, awesome course, super fun, and I just had a hell of a time. I mean, and then we get back and hang around the parking lot for a little bit, and then we cruise back, and then the after party starts. Hell, they've got pizza, man. They've got, they have food and beers and music and awards, and it's all free. I mean, it's all free. We're just all hanging out at Peddler's Pub, and they have free everything for all the racers. I mean, it's an unbelievably great deal, great support, and I mean, we hung out there until the rain started. It was probably 5 or so. We'd been there for 3 or 4 hours just talking, sharing stories, and meeting crazy people, and having great beers and good food. And we even talked to some crazy Minnesota dudes. Man, those guys were well into the cold beer and telling some stories, weren't they? Oh man! Again, thanks to Kevin and Leslie that run the place at Peddler's Pub. So you guys are awesome. Heck of an event, and had a really good time. Okay, let's see. I think I've missed some comments. That's some good stuff there. So let's see. Nicole says, so thankful we have a mountain bike family, no matter if we're there or not, thoroughly enjoy himself. Nicole, that's exactly it, and so you guys are starting to feel that now. And, my kids are a little bit older, but I can remember the same thing when mine were little, and I'd come to a race. And, a little difference for me is that, at the time I was pretty much a single dad, and I had my kids, and I needed a race. And I knew that I could bring my kids to the race, and they were safe and sound, and they were stealing hot dogs from, people's team tents, and there's always someone that, there's like 50 mothers at every race that are going to take care of everybody's kids, and so it's such a great environment, and such that it's just a cool environment, and it's a cool family. No matter what, family's not all blood. It crosses, just across to everybody. So it's and we love doing it, and we love everybody being a part. And I think Steven said something about we were talking about all the teams from Oklahoma that went to Arkansas. We still, I mean, we're all still friends, even though we ride for different teams. But it's especially so when you go out of state, because there's no team. It's Team Oklahoma. We just have different kits on. So, that's the support that we show for everybody. And one of my favorite pictures from this weekend was that we had several people finish, and I think we missed a couple. But we took a picture over at the triage tent just so that we could get our picture in, because we had a couple people getting all patched up. So we didn't want to miss them out of the picture. So we went to them and took the picture there. So I thought that was fun. We got, we had all the, several different teams represented. And again, I think that just shows what we, what cycling and mountain biking and the friendships that we develop across all people. And I think that's just great. Cody Pollard that enjoyed racing single speed so much about. So Cody Pollard. So we had a crew. So we had a local crew there. So it was Desiree, myself, Cody Pollard, Heath Arning, and the Dentons, John and Julie. Jeremy Black came down. And that was it for our local crew that we all kind of stayed together. Cody was riding a single speed on a borrowed Niner that he had borrowed from Ray Hall, and we got his gearing hooked up for him, and he had a heck of a time. Went out a little bit hard on one section, kind of blew up a little bit, and had some nutrition issues, but loved riding the single speed. So apparently he just bought one because he loved it so much. So I love that. So you need to get a picture of that, or you need to let us know what you got. So I'm stoked to hear about that new ride you got. All right, my mouse is totally freaking out here. So what's going on here? Angela Corda says, one of the best race weekends in a long time, and I'm moving to Arkansas. All right. I dig that. We are too. I got 8 years till I retire, so I've got 8 years to get a plan. Stephen Cordis, he one-ups Cody Pollard. He bought a single speed on his way home from Bentonville and rode it tonight. Keith Arnian says, "Where's my new tires, Cody?" GT Giorgito, yes, you're right, dude. We need a Walton kid to move to Oklahoma. You're right. That's exactly right. Chad, you said, what are the dates on that one again? So I've talked a whole bunch about things, so I don't know exactly what day you're talking about. Tour de Dirt dates. Next weekend is Keystone. The next race after that is going to be Outback, and that is going to be the 20th, if that's correct. I think that's right. It's 20th or 21st, whatever the Sunday is. So, yes. Alyssa, thank you. Alyssa, if you look on there and find Alyssa Cousins Lutz, she posted the link. This is the Oklahoma Flyer link. So I'm going to click on that and make sure that works. Yes, it does. So click on that link. I think I shared that last time. Gosh dang, my mouse battery's probably dying. Hope it doesn't die before I get done here. Steven, I'm getting to you, dude. No. Stephen Cordes says, Do we not exist? So yes, they exist. So I totally forgot about the Cordises. Sorry. I'm winging it here, dude, and it's like, you know, you guys are always there, so I forget about you. So because we're always in each other's space. Steve, Angela, and Kai were here. Obviously, Kai was racing, and Steven and Julie and Angela. I don't know how many times did we see you guys. You guys were all over the place during the race. We saw you guys like 4 times, so you guys must have been hooking it to get back and forth from spot to spot. So you guys rock. And sorry I missed you guys out, but again, I'm just so used to you guys being with me. I don't think about it. Jeremy Black, Team Kyle, Kai Cordis, aka Kyle Cords. Desiree, the women race. Yeah, the women's race. I don't really talk about any of the races, but yeah, we had. There's a podium pick, and you're in it. I'm in it. Kai's in it. Malachi's in it. Cody's in it. Got several people, so it was all good. Chad, I got checked up. Yes. Steve says hiking and drinking. 1/4, 1/2, 3/4, and yeah. So Angela's giving us logistics on where they were at. So anyway, man, that went longer than expected, but gosh, that was a hell of a time. We had a really good time. It was one of the more fun weekends we've had in quite some time. So pretty stoked. Good turnout, good time. All right, I don't have my glasses, so I got to kind of telescope here a little bit. All right, so that's really about it. Unless there's any questions, I do have one little thing I want to finish up with, and then I guess the one thing about Peddler's Bash, which was so cool, it's very rare that we have a race on a Saturday and then don't have anything to do on Sunday. That was so great to not have to do anything or worry about race prep or getting up or eating or anything like that on Sunday. So Sunday was just such a chill day. And to top our Sunday off, so here's the kicker. And so I just thought of this, and I can't believe I didn't write this on my notes. So we get up Sunday, and we finally all get up and around, and we've all got things going on, and we're sleeping late, and John's sleeping a hangover off, and and finally said we're going to go eat breakfast. And so we had one of our locals, Elizabeth Lizzie Graham, is one of our, she lives there, and I guess it's Rogers technically, but it's kind of all Bentonville, Rogers for us. And she's a local there, and she's a friend of ours. We've known her for a couple of years just through racing. So we're going to meet her and all of our guys. We're going to eat breakfast, and we get to this place that's popular, and it's like a 30-minute wait. And she just says, well, Lizzie says, why don't we just come to my house and we'll just cook breakfast. And so we did. We just went to her apartment and made breakfast and all hung out. And it was the coolest Sunday morning after a race I think we've had in a long time. Just, 8, 10 people all piled in, an apartment, eating breakfast. Everybody's sharing the load, doing dishes, helping out. I didn't help out that much. I was just kind of in the way, but it's a great time. And Lizzie, we can't thank you enough. That was that's again, that just goes back to the true way that mountain bikers and some of the cyclists that hang out with us are. I mean, just invites a whole group of random people back to their place for breakfast. I mean, that's awesome, and that's unbelievable hospitality, and we love it, and that's why we're in the sport, because we meet so many people just like that. It's beautiful. Scott Hutchins, his mom and dad don't know how to spell. So you see a lot of banter between all of us about Kai Cordis and Kyle Cords. So everybody calls him Kyle just because Kai's different, so they think it's probably Kyle. And the Cordises, it's Cordis like tortoise. but nobody can pronounce their last name, so it's always Cords. So now it's just a running joke for us. We call him, we call him Kai, not Kyle, or we just call him Kyle Cords, which is like the double whammy of wrong and wrong. So it's Kai Cordis, but anyway. Of course, Steve and Angela still get the Cords part, but it's pretty easy to say Steve and pretty easy to say Angela. So, so now you guys know where the joking's going with the whole the Kyle not Kai thing. So, or Kai not Kyle, I don't know, whatever. Got it right, slaughter pen, all that stuff is up there. It's good stuff. You're right, Gunnar, and we talked about you because she's a coach as well, so you guys probably know each other. Angela says they can't read, we can spell. Two wrongs don't make a Kai. Nice. Oh, good times. All right, hey, we're at 46 minutes, and I'm going to finish before an hour. This is awesome. Unless someone brings up something that, just makes me want to talk, and, that's pretty easy to do. So anyway, I just want to finish with, we got Keystone coming up. We're going to knock that out. We have Outback coming up in a couple weeks or so, right? I don't know, a couple weeks. Where's my date? No, it's like 3 weeks. Almost 4 weeks. Almost 4 weeks. So it's like 3.5. So we got some time before Outback. So I'm not gonna talk a lot about that because I want to hype that more when it gets closer to the time. Love that place. One of my favorite courses, actually. It's kind of a rocky course, but it's just got this weird flow. So it's rocky, but it's got this weird flow. It works. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. I like it. It's got one of the coolest spectator locations ever. So anyway, we'll talk more about it. Got plenty of time with it. But in between that, in Keystone, we have Marathon Nats. So I think we're going to have quite a crew of Oklahoma folks going up there. And again, we're going to have multiple teams, but it's going to be all about the Oklahomans. So we're all one team when we go to places like this. We're going to be racing Marathon Nationals on May 6th. So you need to get registered. I still have not. I'm still debating on whether to race age group on my single speed or just race single speed. I don't know. Can't make the call. I'm going to have to figure it out today or tomorrow. Gunnar Wright, thank you for reminding me. I want to bring that up in a minute. Totally forgot about that. You are correct. I want to, yeah, sorry I got sidetracked there. But Gunnar just made a great point that I mentioned earlier I want to make. Marathon Nats, be there. Get registered. It's going to be a great event. Iron Mountain is an absolutely phenomenal course. We did the marathon there 2 years ago before it was the Nationals. We did Nationals last year. I've got a date with Marathon Nationals this year because last year I sucked up hard. It was like the worst race I've ever raced in my entire life. So, I've got to make amends, and we'll see how that goes. Feel pretty good. So anyway, Marathon Nats is awesome. Get registered. Make plans to get up there. Come join the Oklahoma crew. Let's make Oklahoma proud. You'll love it. It's a great event. You get to see some pros and pro women, pro men, and you get to see how the real deal does their thing. So it's pretty awesome experience, to tell you the truth. And last year was my first national experience, and I did 2 national races last year, and just to see the level of competition and the levels that people reach are absolutely amazing. So, should go. Let's see. That's it for this. Let's see. Yes. So what I did want to mention, I made a point of a minute ago. I was talking about the course goes through Slaughter Pen, and it takes for the Peddler's Bash, and it takes part of the Slaughter Pen Jam course. Well, there was a big note this week that came out of the Arkansas world, and the Slaughter Pen Jam is no more. They're still going to have that race, but they're moving the location. So it now is going to be the Kessler Jam. I think that's the proper name. I don't know. They might change, but it's the Kessler Jam. So it's Kessler Mountain Jam. So many of you, I mean, if you haven't been to Kessler Mountain as you go to do the back 40 and other places, so Fayetteville is just a quick jaunt up the road up 49 from Bentonville and Rogers. Typically, we always hit Kessler while we're there. And in fact, Kessler is turning out to be one of our go-tos. We really enjoy that that trail. It's just cool. I mean, sometimes we get tired of doing the back 40 and those things that we've done so many times. And the Kessler Trail's got some good stuff, really good stuff. I think they're going to make a great race out of it. So anyway, that was the news that I wanted to think. Slaughter Pin Jam, which has been going for several years, is no more. It's now Kessler Mountain Jam. I don't know the promoter status. I'm guessing maybe it's probably the same promoters. They're just moving venue. Don't know a lot of details yet, but anyway, just keep your eye out for that. Hey, Dylan popped in. Dylan Postier. So yeah. So speaking of our Uncle Homans going to Peddler's Bash and doing their thing, winter chicken dinner right here. Dylan Postier. So goes down and shows the Arkansas boys how to do it. I don't know what your time was, but man, you knocked that sucker out and had a heck of a race. It came down to, I don't know, I guess a couple of attacks towards the end because you guys were together. It ended up being like a minute, but awesome race, man. And again, Oki's taking the money. Scott Hutchins, Texans too. Chad Van Hosen, how many miles is Outback for training? Asking for a friend. Well, you're doing Cat 3. We're going to do, I would imagine we're going to continue the same loop structure. We're not sure the direction. I'm still got some talking to do with the promoters there, but I think the laps are about, 5.5 miles a piece, but they're a little bit slower than normal. I don't have a good time on it. I'd have to look at my times from last year. I can get some information to you though, Chad, about times based on last year, because that course hasn't changed distance-wise. But yeah, so you're looking at a 5.5 mile loop for a Cat 3. That's what you're looking at. So, okay, I'm at 52 minutes. Last chance. Any questions? If there's no questions, I'm going to roll out and call it a night and see if I can maybe get to bed early if I don't have too many comments. If you come up with something and you think about after the fact, then just comment here. Again, remember that I will post this on my YouTube page. I will link my YouTube page to this as soon as I go offline here. So go out, subscribe to, once you link to my YouTube page, just go out and subscribe to it, and that way you can watch this again if you want to. But more importantly, probably if someone has not seen it and they're talking about it, you can link them to that and they can watch it after the fact. So because it gets buried pretty quickly on all the Tour de Dirt posts, so this thing will be like 20 threads down by Thursday. So speaking of Thursday, Dirt Crits are back. Been back for a couple weeks, but I missed last week because I didn't want to travel, because it's 4 hours for me. It's 2 hours to get there and 2 hours to get home. So I skipped last week because I knew I was going to have to go to Arkansas. So, but I'll be back. I'll be back this Thursday. Hope to see you guys there. And no questions. I'm scrolling. I think we're good. I'm out. You guys enjoy. See you Thursday. See you at Keystone. Later. Come on in.